a bat on, so it's hard to see the concentric circles, but what you can do is just grab something. I'm just going to grab a little water in my finger and put, you know, kind of a target. Alright, so you want to recenter the bowl as much as possible. You know, the thing that's really important, though, before you do that, is you want to look inside your object, your vessel that you've just thrown. And you kind of want to memorize the contour, because this shape in here is what you want on the outside. And the reason for that is that means that you have removed the same amount, or the thickness of the wall is consistently the same throughout the entire piece. And you're doing that so that you don't get a hernia every time you pick up your beginning pottery bowls, okay? You want to reduce the weight as much as possible, okay? So I'm looking at the inside and I'm making mental notes of where I need to trim some clay off. And I think I'm going to be okay, because if you remember on the wheel, this is completely done, right? When you're throwing this on the wheel, this is totally refined, because you're not going to be able to trim anything off of that, all right? So,
what is it, about the bottom third that you're working with?
Actually, about 2/3. 2/3. It just, you know, honestly, Meryl, it depends on the size of the bowl. Okay. You know, if it's really shallow, it's only this tall, then you may have wanted to finish more than what you're going to trim off. It just depends on, you know, the shape of the bowl. All right, so I turn this upside down. And so what I'm going to do is look for my needle tool here. And I'm going to, like a record player, I'm going to hold my needle tool and make a mark. Now notice that you don't move your hand at all. I've got my hand with my other hand like this. I'm stabilized on the top part of my leg, and I drop the needle tool right there, okay?
And that's before you put the anchors? Yeah?
Because what we're doing is we're centering it right now. We need to have as much precision in this part of the process as possible, okay? So I'm looking at this, and I'm noting that this distance right here is shorter than this distance here. So I need to take that part of the vessel, put it in front of me, and pull it towards myself like a millimeter. Do you guys know how big a millimeter is? Not real big at all, okay? So little increments at a time. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. Start the wheel, and you want to go really slow, because if you like floor it, your bowl's going to go across the room, okay? So you want to go as slow as possible, but you also want to have enough speed so that you're going to get a precise circle. So notice how I didn't do, like, I wasn't doing this. Like, I wasn't going to just, I'm not just drawing a circle on there, right? Okay, so I'm going to stop this. I'm going to take a few measurements. So it seems like it's still a little bit shorter of a distance over there. Yeah. So I'm going to pull this towards me. About a millimeter. Clean it up. Draw the line again. Check this distance. Yeah, it's about right. So now what I want to do is I want to define the foot statement. Okay, and what that means is I need to draw, this is probably where I'm going to put the outside of the foot. I'm going to draw a line right here where the inside of the foot's going to be. Voila. So, clay, not wedged, not going to be fired. Alright? And you want to make little coils. Holding the bowl, push down. Don't push in, because that could warp your bowl. Pushing down. You want to use 3 pieces whenever you are dealing with centrifugal force. 3 points is stronger than any other. A triangulation, if you will. Okay? Alright, so the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to remove the stuff on the outside. Now this is important, how you hold your tool. You can't just hold it like this. Alright? Like, whoa, it's like waving a loaded weapon in the air, okay? So what you want to do is you want to be able to stabilize yourself. You also want to hold your needle tool with a slight angle. Notice where my fingertip is. It's right between, you know, where the 2 little pieces of wire meet and this little facet connects it. So basically, you know, sometimes what I'll do is I'll put my middle finger here. I'm not really doing anything. It just kind of help me steady myself. And then my elbow is stabilized over here.
Does it matter at that point whether you're using a rounded one or a flat one?
I would say the rounded one, but it's whatever you're more comfortable with. I'm just trying to get some stuff off here. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and remove. I'm going to start from the top and pull down. So start from the top, and I'm at approximately 4 to 5 o'clock. I'm pulling down. Okay? Gonna refine it. Here's something about the wheel speed. You can't go too slow. If you go too slow, you're just like. Okay? So you guys see the problem with that, right? You're gonna get an uneven bottom. It's not gonna be perfectly circular. It's gonna be very organic. Okay? Alright, so wheel speed is important. You don't want to like crank it up to Mach 5 because then your these will dry, bowl will fly. Thank you. Very nice, Carol.
I've been there.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I'm going to clean this up here because you can see the line that I've drawn. I just want to like refine this, so I'm going to refine it. Starting from the top, pulling down. Okay. What's up?
I said there's something very satisfying in having unexpected.
Yeah. It really is, you know.
When it works.
Alright, so in the middle, I'm going to hold this hand with my left hand, anchor myself, and remove. Start in the middle. Pull out. Now here, Meryl, is where you get to use the angled part. So I'm going to place it right here and get rid of all that excess glare. So I usually throw my bowls about 1/2 inch, so I know how much I need to remove. Okay? You know, anywhere from 1/4. Starting in the middle. And you know, I know that the bottom of this vessel isn't flat, so I'll put kind of a rounded, Jamie, bottom to it, okay? And you know, this foot looks a little thick, so I'll take a little more off. Now, the thing about a foot is you don't want it to be too thick because it will be too heavy. You don't want it to be too thin because then it'll crack. Alright? So you kind of have to find the sweet spot there. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of that comes with experience. But, you know, I'd love to have a discussion with you all individually about the proper thickness of a vessel's foot. And, you know, if you want to get really fancy, I'll take my tool like this and clean it up on the inside like so. This is craftsmanship. Cleaning up, going a little bit beyond to make it look real nice.
But you want it just kind of clean and very classy or something.
We call it classical. Refined. We don't want it to look like a kindergartner put this thing together. We're in college. Alright, so you'll notice that I've got some bumps out here. I'm going to clean those up. The reason you want to clean those up is because this is creating an inconsistent thickness, alright? Which is bad with clay. So, I'm using this part right here because I think that would be perfect right there, right? So notice how I'm holding my tool like this. Then I'm going to turn it over. And unify those two spots. So I'm transitioning from the non-trim surface to where I was trimming. Okay? So now I'm going to just flatten, smooth it out the foot. Okay, so at this point, what you're going to want to do is just refine the edges. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll use my finger just to kind of put a nice little edge so it doesn't crack off. I spend a little time here smoothing it down because this grog will doesn't leave a nice trail on a wooden table, if you know what I mean. Okay. And then all of this stuff right here you want to clean up because the glaze isn't going to get there.
Well, actually, I think it looks kind of nice, but you can't leave it there for the glazing?
Well, the grog. It's just a rough
you're not
surface.
changing it,
Yeah.
you're just smoothing it.
Notice I put a little bit of water on my finger. If you want to do that, that's fine. Another way to do it is to get a little piece of piece of wood. You can use a little bit of cloth. Yeah, you want to make sure that this is smooth because it's not going to be covered by the glaze. The other stuff will be. Alright, so then I'm going to put the old Bader bowl. Bader. Okay, so here we go. Got yourself a real nice bowl for something.